ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नित्यनरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिके। ॐ ज्ञानातिविहन्मस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सहगणललिता श्रीशाश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृषभे वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरे प्रिये। त्वदनुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णविस्तृतगुरुपरपराय श्री गुरुराजाय स्वामिने सुभद्रा राष्ट्रीय विष्णुपदाय कृष्णविस्तृतगुरुचेतोभक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी प्रचारदेशपावने मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिवत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम्। So we are reading chapter Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13. Last $29. Samam Pashyanti Sarvatra Samavasthitam Ishwaram Nahinastyaatmanatmanam Tato Yati Param Gatim. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus he approaches the transcendental destination. All right, Shikara, you read?
Hare Krishna. Put by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. The living entity, by accepting his material existence, has become situated differently than in his spiritual existence. But if one understands that the Supreme is situated in his Paramatma manifestation everywhere. That is, if one can see the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in every living thing, he does not degrade himself by a destructive mentality, and he therefore gradually advances to the spiritual world. The mind is generally addicted to sense gratifying processes, but when the mind turns to the Supersoul, one becomes advanced in spiritual understanding.
So here's some practical instructions. So Prabhupada is saying that the living being degrades himself by destructive mentality. Degrades himself by so meaning that if all of us were not sitting here together, reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, chanting or whatever, we'll destroy ourselves. This is what's being said here. We'll simply destroy ourselves. So what we will do, we will engage in work, in activities that will destroy us. And this is how, you watch people destroy their lives, do things, they engage in all these horrific activities, meat eating, intoxication, gambling, and illicit sex, and all its varieties. What do? They destroy themselves, especially when you see a young child, when they get viewed by friends, they're innocent young child, teenagers, they get lured into sense gratification and they start breaking all regulatory principles of dharma, and they really destroying themselves. But by the time they come into their late 30s, they're already destroyed. And when they're 40 years old, when good sense start to kick in, they have already lost too much. Really too much. So how to avoid this? Well, it's here in this verse. The living entity, by accepting his material existence, have become situated differently than his spiritual existence. And this is very much clear when you see a devotee child, how he looks, how he dresses, how he speaks. When you see another child, same age, what they do, what they speak. So one is like awakening his spiritual existence, and the other is completely in material existence, and you can see the difference. So they are differently situated, but if one understands that the Supreme is situated in his Paramatma manifestation everywhere, that is, if one can see the presence of the Supreme Person Godhead in every living being, he does not degrade himself by destructive mentality. So meaning that the one who is situated in material existence, if he starts to learn, so one who sees the super soul equally present everywhere in every living being, does not degrade himself by his mind. Hinasti, right? He kills himself, hina, make himself low. That's a Sanskrit word, right? Hinasti, degrading, making himself low. So, in cultured society, we do speak about this, that be careful, don't degrade yourself. So the tendency now is the path of degradation. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by his mind, thus he approaches the transcendental destination. So the mind is generally addicted to sense gratifying processes, but when the mind turns to the super soul, one becomes advanced in spiritual existence. So meaning that it has to be pushed, this idea of super soul Paramatma. This idea has to be pushed in the forefront. The many youngsters who come to the temple every day, these young boys and girls, they come every single day. And they flood the temples, along with everybody else also. And you give them a book, they say, no, I don't want to read a book. I have so many books, I'm not going to read. You give them a book, no. If as many young people who came, if that many would take a book, what difference it would make? So they are not ready to read. Because to begin with, you give them the book, they don't understand it. Right? So they get put off. And they don't even know that maybe we are teaching here. That these books we are teaching. So to push forward that the super soul is present at every moment, everywhere and at every moment. That each and everybody who is walking, the super soul is with them and guiding them. Text 30. Prakrityaiva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashah pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sapashyati. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and see that the self does nothing, actually sees. All right, Anupama.
Hare Krishna. Purpose. This body is made by material nature under the direction of the super soul, and whatever activities are going on in respect to one's body are not his doing. Whatever one is supposed to do, either for happiness or for distress, one is forced to do because of the bodily constitution. The self, however, is outside all these bodily activities. This body is given according to one's past desires. To fulfill desires, one is given the body, with which he acts accordingly. Practically speaking, the body is a machine designed by the Supreme Lord to fulfill desires. Because of desires, one is put into difficult circumstances to suffer or to enjoy. This transcendental vision of the living entity, when developed, makes one separate from bodily activities. One who has such a vision is an actual seer.
Meaning that because we have a body, so automatically we are doing things. We are forced to do it. Like you sleep, you get up, you have to go to the bathroom. You have no choice, right? Then if you're in mode of goodness, you take bath. And if you're a devotee, you chant. This is not by force. This is your will, your wish, right? And then you're by force, you have to go and work. Right? If you don't work, you don't earn your living, whether you're working at home or you're working outside home. But work you have to do. And if you watch yourself, every day you have to cook. Every day you have to clean the house. You're forced, right? No day you can say, today, let me relax and say, how will I eat today? Right? And you think, okay, let's just order something. Then you look at the bill the next day, you say, better I cook. Right? So many things. You're forced. Whatever one is supposed to do, either for happiness or for distress. One is forced to do because the bodily constitution, just now do again, I keep on saying this, do conscious living. Be aware of your every moment, what you're doing. You think, okay, now I can just relax and just suddenly don't know how to do this. There is only a small couple of hours when we are actually free to do what we want. Is it true? Couple of hours when we are free to do what we want, and the rest of the time you're forced to do what's you're supposed to do. Yeah. So practically speaking, the body is a machine designed by the Supreme to fulfill desire. So, okay, here's the machine, but the machine has earth, water, fire, air, ether. So sometimes you get too hot, right? It got heated up. It's a machine. Sometimes it's leaking. Okay, it's running. That's the machine. Or sometimes it's just blowing the air, right? Bloating everywhere, blowing. Everything is spinning with the air. So, my God. So therefore, see, why am I pointing out all this is so that we become aware of it. See, we take birth. Birth means you become awake, jagrit, right? The soul is locked in susupti in the mother's womb. And then as soon as it takes birth, meaning he wakes up. But you can wake up, meaning the soul has woken up. But the mind should not remain in susupti. Right? That's why every parent is anxious to see whether the child is developing. And if they find there is some mental disturbance, they become very worried. Because what is happening, the mind is still in susupti. Body, soul is awake. But mind is still sleeping. And anyway, babies are definitely still in sleeping mode, right? So when we come out now, as we study Bhagavad Gita, when we leave the body, we should be awake, meaning the mind has to be jagrit. The intelligence has to be jagrit. So here, this is such a wonderful passage. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created material nature, and see that the self does nothing, actually sees. It's all going on externally. I mean, have to do it's going on. It's doing. So you should be able to observe yourself. This is a yogi. Are we all chanting 16 rounds here? Okay, just put up your hand. Who's chanting 16 rounds? Are you chanting, Anupama?
I become irregular.
You're irregular?
Yes.
How many rounds you're chanting?
When I chant on, but I do miss.
You chant, Mala? Are you chanting?
Me, Mataji?
Yes.
I am Mataji, but not 16 rounds. And the slightest thing that happens, if I fall sick or if some distraction happens, then I have to pull myself up again. I fall.
Yeah. So therefore, whatever we are describing here, it's difficult to understand, to realize. Because this chanting is dissociating your soul from your body. It's distilling. It's distilling the soul that has become locked in the body. Now we have 3 layers. We have the gross body, the subtle body, and the spiritual body. So the chanting is cutting. What happened, Anupama? You see, to Anupama. To Anupama, what happened? One is frozen and the other one is speaking. So this chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra actually cuts granthi. There is a knot that ties the soul to the material body. And the chanting is cutting that knot. It's like Daksha. I don't know whether you know the story. So when he offended Lord Shiva and Parvati committed suicide, Sati committed suicide, then Lord Shiva and all his associates, they came in the assembly arena, the Yagya arena of Daksha. And one of them, they caught Daksha, put him down, and they wanted to cut off his head. But however much they were, cutting his head, they couldn't do it. Then finally, horror of all horror, this person who was trying to cut off the head of Daksha, he saw the sacrificial instrument that was meant to cut off the head in the sacrifice. He picked that up and then he cut off the head of Daksha. So what I'm saying is that it's not just knife that can cut, or even Ravan. Ravan had so many heads, right? And so many weapons were being sent to his head. It couldn't be cut off. Even if one falls off, again it comes back, right? So this soul is so tightly tied to this material body. And there has to be a special, very, very sharp, powerful instrument, an energy. This meaning the instrument has an energy that will sever the soul from the gross and subtle body. And this particular verse 30 is describing what do we see when the soul is dissociated from the gross and subtle body. What we'll see. Text 29 was about how we are seeing the Supreme Lord everywhere. and we are conscious. In other words, we are conscious of our situation and our duties, and therefore we avoid doing wrong things. And then when we avoid all this, what happens next is that we can see how the soul is separate from the gross and subtle body. And we can work, see the whole process of yoga, Chetutarpada Marjanam, right? So we are chanting, we are doing so many things. What Chetutarpada Marjanam? It's in order to remove all the dirts from our soul. So when that Chetutarpada Marjanam is getting clear, meaning that consciousness, Chetu means your chitta, is getting cleansed, then you're able to see the soul. So even though you are situated in your own body, you're able to see you separate from your body. So that's why I just asked this question, are we chanting? So unless we are chanting, we won't be able to sever the gross body and subtle body. It's not, see, severing the gross body is very easy. You commit suicide, right? Finish. Everybody has to die. But severing the subtle body, how will you do it? Right, text 13. Yada pritagbhavam ekasthamam pashyati tata eva cha vistaram brahma sampadhyate tada. Ashwini, are you able to read? I don't know what happened to her. Ashwini? She kept on popping in and out. Okay, who wants to read? Whoever wants to read.
Can I read, Mataji?
All right.
When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception. Purport: when one can see that the various bodies of living entities arise due to the different desires of the individual soul and do not actually belong to the soul itself, one actually sees. In the material conception of life, we find someone a demigod, someone a human being, a dog, a cat, etc. This is material vision, not actual vision. This material differentiation is due to a material conception of life. After the destruction of the material body, the spirit soul is one. The spirit soul, due to contact with material nature, gets different types of bodies. When one can see this, he attains spiritual vision, thus being freed from differentiations like man, animal, big, low, etc. One becomes purified in his consciousness and able to develop Krishna consciousness in his spiritual identity. How he then sees things will be explained in the next verse.
Right. So this is the Brahma. Now this is the Brahman stage, when one can see that the various bodies of living entities arise due to the different desires of the individual soul. So it's meaning that, see, your desires change, right? So as your desire change, you get different bodies. And like just a simple thing that we can observe regularly, like someone say, oh, why is it that everybody gift me, let's say yellow color? Everybody give me, whenever they give me a gift, they give me yellow. Everybody give me yellow color. Why? Because people, so you wear yellow, so the whole world believe that your best color is, your favorite color is yellow. So whenever you get a gift, they will make sure that they bring something yellow for you. And maybe for you, it's not at all your favorite color. Maybe it's pink, right? The whole whole world is bringing yellow color for you, right? So this is called satisfying your desires, meaning that maybe one time I liked yellow. So your desire getting fulfilled and you changed, right? I mean, I'm speaking of myself, now you've changed your desire. You like this one, then everybody saying, oh, she likes pink, so the whole world brings pink things for you. Is it true? Is it true? Did you observe that in life? So this is what being said here. So meaning that when finally you just remove yourself from all this, you say, which color do I actually like? So I'm changing my desires, and people are changing their gifts accordingly. So finally, you say, but tell me, what is your favorite color? Okay, Anupama, what's your favorite color?
Perhaps pink, Mataji.
Pink. Okay. Oh, so, Mala, what's your favorite color?
Sky blue.
Sky blue. All right. So, if I give you sky blue color every single day, are you going to use?
If you give me, yes, I will use.
Every single day you have to wear sky blues. Are you going to wear?
No.
No, all right. Okay, that's what happens to us. We get a body and then we get bored being in that body. But we have collected and acquired that body and we have no choice. Right? We have painted this color, this shape, and the poor soul is changing, is feeling restless inside because that's not his real self. So when one can see that the various bodies of living entities arise due to the different desires of the individual soul and do not actually belong to the soul itself, one actually sees because it's poor being, he's got stuck. In the material conception of life, we find someone a demigod, someone a human being, a dog, a cat, etc. This is material vision, not actual vision. This material differentiation is due to a material conception of life. After the destruction of the material body, the spirit soul is one. The spirit soul, due to contact with material nature, gets different types of bodies. When one can see this, he attains spiritual vision, thus being free from differentiations like man, animal, big, low, etc. One becomes purified in his consciousness and able to develop Krishna consciousness in his spiritual identity. So here we are, now why made this connection, that here you are, you're stuck in your blue cloth. Every single day you have to wear that blue cloth or that pink cloth or whatever, sometimes you start screaming, why do I have to wear this? Like even see in our movement sometimes, people, they wear one color and then they can't stand it. And later they want to change. So it becomes suffocating. So this poor soul, well, animals, they're only semi-conscious. Not properly Jagrit consciousness, properly Jagrit. A human being feels so uncomfortable. So, like being in female body is like the greatest discomfort. That's why there is so much revolt. Everywhere there is so much revolt about, no, I don't want to be this, I want to be this, I want the world to look upon me like this, I want the world to treat me like this. They're so uncomfortable in that body. No? So, and they want to change it, but they want to change the external. Yeah, they just basically they want to change the external, meaning the shape of their body. They want to change, yeah, the look of the body, or they want to change the mind. You know, say no, if men can do this, I can also do. They can do this, and why is he doing this? He should also do my work, right? So much fight is going on. Why? Because they're so uncomfortable in being in that body. So therefore, it's such a relief, such a huge relief to know that all is simply temporary, and we have acquired it due to our own desire. And if we are able to tolerate to be in that body, and we look towards the Paramatma, one who sees the super soul equally present everywhere, in every living being, does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus he approaches the transcendental destination. So if he just say, okay, now why? We keep on asking why you're studying all this. So this is the reason why. Because it's a very practical thing when you start feeling uncomfortable in your body. Then it is good, instead of starting to do things that will degrade us, then better focus the mind on the super soul. Know that I'm not the body, I'm the soul, and that I belong to the super soul. Anaditvam nirgunatvat paramatmayam avyayah sharirasthoti kunteya na karoti na lipyate. Okay, Anupama, you want to read?
Those with the vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. Purport: a living entity appears to be born because of the birth of the material body, but actually the living entity is eternal. He is not born, and in spite of his being situated in a material body, he is transcendental and eternal. Thus he cannot be destroyed. By nature he is full of bliss. He does not engage himself in any material activities. Therefore, the activities performed due to his contact with material bodies do not entangle him.
No, these are all secrets. So when the body is born, are you born? Body is born, are you born?
No.
No.
So what happens when the body is born? Yeah, Smala?
That particular soul gets a material body because of previous desires or karma.
Yeah, so when the body borns, what is happening with the soul? The
We get
soul wakes up. of that earlier, right? When the body is born, the soul wakes up. Jagrit, right? That's what we had said. So those with a vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. The soul neither does anything nor is entangled. So, a living entity appears to be born. So, meaning that when the body is born, you are not born along with the body. You simply wake up in the body. Understand? What happens? You simply wake up. And then when the body is destroyed, what happens to the soul? What happens to the soul?
Goes into another body.
Body transmigrates to another body.
You say this person has died. Did he vanish or what? He goes to
Another body.
He goes to sleep,
He goes to sleep.
Sleep.
right? Let's just be here. Let's not jump the different subjects. Here, so meaning the soul, when the body is born, the soul wakes up. And when the body lies down, the soul
Sleeps.
goes to sleep. Susupti, right? Then thus he cannot be destroyed. By nature, he is full of bliss. He doesn't engage. Now, when he's awake, okay, so when he's awake, so the body is doing so many things. As we already said, you get up, you have to go to the bathroom, take bath, right? Then you have to go to work. Then you have to do this. There's so many things you just forced. So by nature, he's full of bliss. He doesn't engage himself in any material activities. Therefore, the activities performed due to his contact with material bodies do not entangle him. So the previous verse, Prabhupada said, how when a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception. The soul, due to contact with material nature, gets different types of bodies. When one can see this, he attains spiritual vision. Thus, being freed from differentiation like man, animal, big, blue, etc., one becomes purified in his consciousness and able to develop Krishna consciousness in his spiritual identity. How he then sees things will be explained in the next verse. So what does he see? He sees that the soul is transcendental, is imperishable, eternal, and beyond the gunas. And then even though this Atma is engaged in material activities, actually the interaction is between what? The body, and his interaction is
The modes of material nature.
and what?
And the modes of material nature.
Body or Sukshma body.
Hmm?
Subtle body and gross body.
The interaction is only between the material body and the material creation.
world, material world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Right? You know, like you go to work. Why you go to work? In order to eat. Who's eating?
Body is eating.
Body is eating. Or are you eating?
Body is eating.
Body is eating. All that hard work, right? All that hard work.
Hmm.
And it's only to make the body eat. Right? And Prabhupada said the elephant doesn't have to go and do hard work, and he's eating tons of food. Only human beings is going to work hard for 2 chapatis, right? By nature, he's full of bliss. He doesn't engage himself in any material activities. Therefore, the activities performed due to his contact with material bodies do not entangle him. So, meaning that when now the person who is in proper vision, when he works in the material world, he doesn't get entangled in material world. And this is the whole secret of Bhagavad Gita that's being explained. So we have to start again from first chapter, right? Read again and again and again,
Yes, yes, Mataji.
right? For us to understand how to work in this material world so that we are not caught by it. So this is a very, very huge science and cannot be neglected.
Mataji, just a little confused here that it says soul. I'm still not understanding this. The soul neither does anything nor is entangled. But then soul keeps getting different bodies na, because of that activity done by the one body. And then we keep saying that the soul is entangled in this material world. We are shackled and we are in the prison.
Where is it? Where are you reading from?
From that only, the soul soul is not entangled. It is saying soul is not entangled.
Oh, the
That I'm
soul
not
neither
understanding.
Oh, when is this? Those with this vision of eternity can see that imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. A living entity appears to be born because of the birth of the material body, but actually the living entity is eternal, he is not born. And in spite of his being situated in a material body, he is transcendent and eternal. Thus he cannot be destroyed. By nature, he is full of bliss. He does not engage himself in any material activities. Therefore, the activities performed due to his contact with material bodies do not entangle him. We are learning now how to act in such a way that the soul doesn't get entangled in matter. So here it's like it's the pure knowledge. It's the pure knowledge. When we are dissociating material body from spirit soul. So it's the pure knowledge. But as you're saying, the soul has got entangled because he started identifying with all this. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by his mind, meaning that here is somebody who's in this material world, and he starts to get in contact with material nature. He degrades himself and he gets entangled. But somebody who doesn't engage in all whatever is going on in the material world, he doesn't get entangled. You know, as I said, chant 16 rounds, right? Chant 16 rounds regularly. This is not a small thing. This is self-realization here. You know, Krishna is describing the stage of self-realization. You should be able to see how the soul, by nature, cannot mix with the material nature, because they are two separate entities. One is spirit, the other is matter. And just like water and oil are immiscible, similarly, the soul and the body are immiscible. You know, I remember how I got that medicine, and I was told, you know, so I should, it was an oil, so I'm supposed to put it in water. So, you know, foolish me, what did I do? I put in, you know, a few drops of that oil, and then I pour water on top of it. Then I was just trying to get it all mixed up, you know, and then I was having it. It was such a horror, you know, like I became such a thing, you know, how, you know, here's the oil in the water, then how you take it in that cup, it's such a mess, and it's all and everywhere, you know. Then one day, one blue moon day, you know, full moon day, you know, whatever day, I pour the water, and it was lukewarm water, and I put a few drops, and guess what happened?
It mixed.
Huh?
It got mixed.
No, that's the discovery. It floated. And I was thinking, what silly thing I was doing? I was just trying to mix it, make it mix, and it was not mixing. Then I say, good, the oil is floating in the water, just drink it. That was the idea. It's the physics. All right. The soul does not mix with matter. Right. If you are able to see how the soul doesn't mix with matter, you are half liberated. Is that you do not do things that will cause the mixing, right? I was saying, you know, I'm trying to mix the oil with the water, and it's not mixing. So, by the process of yoga, I separate the soul, just like the oil floated, right? The water, and it was so easy to consume it. So by all our activities, what we are doing is that we are trying to force the soul to get entangled in matter, when actually they are two separate entities. One is spirit, the other is matter. We are trying to force them. So that's why Prabhupada says our life is artificial. Everybody is living an artificial life because the soul cannot mix with matter. So if we have to come in our constitutional position. Oil and water don't mix. So when the oil floated, it remained in its own constitutional position, and the water remained in its own constitutional position, right? And when it went in, it did whatever work it's supposed to do. Hope it did it, you know? Are you getting what I'm saying? Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, Mataji, lovely analogy. Very good analogy of this water and oil. So this
Yeah.
is what it says is a standard position of a, what in this verse it mentions a standard characteristic of a soul which is not supposed to get entangled, but we have mixed it, uh, and and that is what is happening to us. We are in that mixed stage.
Yeah, and so
We
we are
have got
getting
the
entangled. Yeah, so many it shattered.
entangled.
Yeah, it shattered, or it shattered the shape of the oil, right? Like there's so many droplets. If I put, I'm counting, so many drops, right? And when I'm trying to mix the water, it's shattering the shape of the oil, and it's not happening. So as I'm saying, here we are souls, and we're pushing ourselves in this material body. It's not fitting, just not fitting. That's why we are so uncomfortable. We are so restless. We are not found our shelter. We haven't, connected sufficiently. I don't know whether this life also it will happen. It takes a long, long time, huge long time, to remove this and to connect with Krishna and be satisfied with Krishna. Bhagavatam is full of it. So if you don't have time to chant 16 rounds, when will it? That's only basic, the super basic. Oh, here it is. 33. Yatha sarvagatam shokshmaya akasham napalipyate sarvatra vasthitu dehe yathatma nopalipyate. The sky, due to its certain nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all pervading. Similarly, the soul situated in Brahman vision does not mix with the body, though situated in that body. All right. The air enters, the air enters into water, mud, stool, and whatever else is there. Still, it doesn't mix with anything. Similarly, the living entity, even though situated in varieties of bodies, is aloof from them due to his subtle nature. Therefore, it is impossible to see with the material eyes how the living entity is in contact with this body and how he's out of it after the destruction of the body. No one in science can ascertain this. All right. And we gave the example of the oil and the water.
Exactly. Absolutely good example. Same.
You also, you asked me this, and I just because I was pondering when I was taking that water, that medicine. Believe me, it was such a suffering, mixing water and oil. I failed, I was getting burnt, I was disgusted. And then finally, Krishna came to my rescue. I put the water first and I put the oil, I saw it floated. Then I thought, this is how the soul doesn't mix with matter, right? Like yesterday, my nephew sent me a picture of his daughter. I've never, so usually I don't do all this, but I just ask him, send me a picture. And then I look at that, and she's so pretty. She's 7 years old. She's very pretty and cute, And then today, I'm dressing my Radharani. All right. So, and suddenly the picture of this girl, you know, she's small. And my Radharani also, maybe I'll take her picture and send to you. She's also small, like a doll, you know, how small baby children, how cute they are, right? So my Radharani was, so the picture of that girl came in my consciousness. And I saw, so what did I see? Just tell me, what did I see?
आपने उस राधा रानी में उस लड़की को आपने देखा, आपने सोचा मैं उसको ऐसे सजाऊं, वो ब्यूटी, वो मतलब क्यूट लड़की आपके दिमाग में आई राधा रानी को ड्रेसिंग करने के टाइम पे?
What did I see? And anybody can tell me, what did I see? I saw Radharani becoming alive.
Oh.
So what I'm saying is that from what is known to us to what is unknown. I gave you the example of the oil in the water. So I thought of the soul not mixing with matter. Why did that come to me? Because we're spending our whole life studying, reading, right? So when I was dressing Radharani, you know, the picture of this girl came in my mind and then superimposed. So I saw Radharani alive and I thought, this is how it is. She's not just a doll.
नहीं की बनाया ऐसा
Ashwini, I don't know from
बोला
where the sound are coming. Ashwini, maybe it's from your side. All right, so here is such a nice example of the sky. Because of its subtle nature, doesn't mix with anything. All it is all pervading. Similarly, the soul situated in Brahman vision does not mix with the body, though situated in that body. Let's see. Okay, upalipyate. Pyate meaning doesn't mix. And in the previous verse, it said na lipyate. No is he entangled. And here it is mixing. You know, see, if you go on reading, so all this becomes your life. Those of us who've been reading 20 years Bhagavad Gita, you know, again and again, then, you know, this entire section is about how you see the world. What do you see in the world? How you're relating with the world. Vision of when you're situated in Brahman, what do you see? Anyway, so this is self-realization. This section, it's self-realization. The result of all our sadhana, etc., etc. Okay, thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
So, again, if you want to see what's described in this passage, you must chant 16 rounds without fail. And it's not possible only by reading. It's not going to happen only by reading. It has to happen by purification of heart, because all the layers, you know, has to come out. And when it comes out and Krishna sees our endeavor, then what does he do according to chapter, I don't know which chapter, 10, I think. He says, I'll take a torch, right? I'll take a torch and say, here it is, here it is, here it is. We're not seeing it, see, we are blind. We can't see that this poor soul has, descended and entered a very dark place, right? You cannot see. And he's got artificial eyes. What can he say? He's blinded, the soul is gone to sleep. Actually, I read somewhere say that when the Atma enters this body, the soul goes to sleep. So it's only one portion of him that wakes up. And then he pretends to be the owner of this world, and he does all his lafra, whatever he wants to do. The original soul itself goes to sleep. We are reading many books together, right? Chaitanya Charitamrita, somewhere we read about this. All right, thank you very much.
Yes, Mataji, even I had read that.
You
Thank
read
you,
it?
thank you.
No.